What's going on, Pick Factor fans? I'm Ladell, your host for the evening. Actually, I'll be playing your draft analyst for today. Today, I'm breaking down the Washington Redskins. And as many of you probably already know, the Redskins don't have a first round pick, but they do have a second round pick. And a good thing for them is that there's a lot of picks available, a lot of guys available at the positions that they need. Earlier last week, I went on my Twitter page, LadellBest46. If you haven't been on there, come check it out, follow me. And I asked the Redskins fans, what would you like to see from your team? What position do you think the Redskins need the most going into this year's draft? And a lot of you guys replied and spoke out, and I heard your remarks and your questions loud and clear. And so today I'm here to break some of that down for you. Now, the overwhelming consensus amongst Redskin fans happen to be corners and safeties, and I actually agree with that. Corners and safeties seems to be an area of concern. Much of last year, it seems that the Redskins secondary gave up a lot of yardage that I'm sure the fans didn't approve of. So I have a few guys that I took a look at, and I'm going to break them down for you right now. First guy I want to take a look at that might be available when the Redskins pick number 51 is DJ Swearinger. He's a 6 foot, 212-pound safety out of South Carolina. Now that right there in itself already jumps out to me. South Carolina, which is the SEC, a guy that's been a 4-year starter in the SEC, team captain, highly capable of playing against top-level talent. I mean, in the SEC, you're going to see top-notch receivers, tight ends, quarterbacks. You're going to see it all. The speed of the game down there is much comparable to the NFL, so I like that. He's known as a big hitter over the middle, guy that likes to stick it to the running backs when they're running in between the tackles. He'll stop, some of those long runs, and I like that. The Redskins have kind of been missing that to me over the last couple of years. He actually reminds me a little bit of LaRon Landry in terms of the box safety awareness and making big hits. He can also line up and cover some of the slot guys and tight ends. He's definitely capable in that area too. So the first guy I'd like to take a look at is DJ Swearinger. Now my next guy up, if the Redskins decide not to go in the direction of a safety, and they might want to take a look at corner, I like a guy out of Oregon State by the name of Jordan Poyer. 5'11" corner, 197 pounds, so he's got pretty good size. Now, his strength level wasn't up to most NFL standards. I think he did 6 reps on the bench press, but I don't really care about that. I play with a guy that only did 1 rep on bench press, and he happened to play 9 years. True story. But Jordan Poyer, a guy out of Oregon State, he's a smooth athlete. He was actually drafted to play baseball straight out of high school, so he's a 2-sport star, very good athlete, fluid in the hips, led the Pac-12 in interceptions over the last 2 years. I like that aspect of him, a guy that can take the ball away, create turnovers. And when you have an offense that has RG3, hoping that he comes back healthy, and Alfred Morris in the backfield, the more times that you can give them possessions of the ball, the better the offense will be. So I like a guy that can pick the ball off, has great ball skills, and he has experience in man and zone. I like that about him too, because in NFL you have to be versatile. You can't just play one way. So if the Redskins have an opportunity to pick him up either in the 6th, 2nd, or 3rd round, I think Jordan Poyer would be a solid pick for him. Like I said earlier, this draft is very deep at the corner and safety position. So in rounds 2, 3, and 4, there should be a lot of guys, a lot of quality talent left out there, guys that could be starters for a long time in this league. Now, if I continue looking on, I like this guy, and I consider him my wild card pick. And I say wild card because I think he can translate into two different positions on the NFL level. This guy's name is David Emerson. He's 6'1", 205 out of North Carolina State. Now, just over a year ago in his sophomore season, he set NCAA and NC State records in 2011 with 13 picks. That's right, I said 13. That's a lot of interceptions. And to me, that says you're a classic ball hawk. And when you have classic ball hawk skills, that means that you're a turnover machine, and I love that. Like I said earlier, the more opportunities you give RG3 with the football, the more points you can put on the board. And if you have a guy that can take that ball away and put it in the hands of the offense, that's always a plus at NFL level. So I like David Emerson. He was an all-ACC finalist, Jack Tatum Award, everything in his sophomore season. Now, his senior year dropped off a little bit, but I think he's still on the rise, and I think he's a good player to take a look at when the Redskins are on the board. Now, I couldn't finish this draft analysis without taking a look at some of what I consider high-risk, high-reward kind of guys. And those, to me, are guys that have off-the-field issues, but great on-the-field production. Now, some teams like to stay as far away as possible from guys that have character issues, but there's other teams that like to take a gamble here and there. And if I'm going to take a look at 2 guys, in my opinion, that are high-risk, high-reward players, the first one that jumps off the board is Tyrann Mathieu. LSU, all everything just over a year ago. I mean, all SEC, all American, Bednarik Award winner, which goes to the best defensive player in the country, Heisman finalist or up for the Heisman. The list goes on and on. And the thing I like about Tyrann Mathieu is that he can play anywhere on the field. I mean, they line this guy up in slot. They line him up outside on the receiver. They line him up at safety. They blitzed him off the edges. They put him back at punt return, kickoff. You name it, he did it all, and he just jumps off the film when you watch him play. He's a human highlight, turnover machine. He'll probably be a great pro. He'll make somebody, very happy when he lines up out there. But you have to deal with his off-the-field issues. If I'm going to look at another guy that I consider high risk, high reward, and I take a look on offense, it's going to be a receiver. A receiver out of Tennessee Tech by the name of Derrick Rogers. And if you heard that name before, it's probably because he was at Tennessee, the Volunteers, actually. He was an all-SEC performer at Tennessee and was actually dismissed from the school for off-the-field issues. Now, for you to get dismissed after you were already all-SEC means that you must have some serious maturity issues at that time. Now, I don't know what he's done to correct that, but his statue, his physical makeup, he's 6'3", 217. I mean, the physical and talent level is there. It's just, are the maturity issues ironed out? Are they behind him or not? We don't know, but we'll find out on draft day. After all this draft talk, it gets me to thinking about what I was doing the day that I was going to get drafted. I remember sitting at home with just my immediate family, my mom and my brother, and I think that was about it. My uncle I didn't want to have a big party. I just wanted a select few because at the time I didn't know exactly where I was going to get drafted, second, third round, wasn't sure. So I just remember sitting at home and, man, that first day was long because back then they had the first and the second and the third round all on the first day. So I just remember sitting through the whole first round. Name didn't get called. Second round, the butterflies are starting to come. I see the names coming off the board, and then all of a sudden, at number 56, the Redskins gave me a phone call and said, "Hey, would you like to come be a Redskin?" I said, "Yes, no doubt." And I remember that was the happiest day of my life. So I hope these guys, some of the guys I mentioned and the guys I didn't mention, all these guys are in for a wonderful experience. Someone will take it hard, someone will take it well. But at the end of the day, it's not about where you get drafted. It's not about where you start. It's about where you finish. I'm Ladell Betts, and that was my draft day analysis. You can follow me on Twitter at LadellBetts46. And to check out the rest of the picks, log on to PickFactor.com.